think. So
I'm sure
we
Laura.
should have waited to start till everybody was there thing, but we'll just edit it out.
Oh, I can stop it. Hold on. Pause.
Okay, so welcome everyone. So excited to have you here tonight. And we're going to take a little mini trip, a virtual trip to Antarctica. I'd like to introduce Sterling Wertanzel from Sterling Journey. She's my associate partner, um, you know, person in crime. She's in charge of, she's our director of operations. So all the behind the scenes things that will happen on this trip, Sterling will be the person in making sure everything goes absolutely smoothly. And on the bottom of the screen, you will see Laura Gerwin. Laura Gerwin is our Antarctica specialist, and she is going to let us know everything you can possibly imagine or want to know about this amazing trip to Antarctica. So I think I'm just gonna, we kind of have people are still coming in, but I think we'll get started because there will be a recording if somebody misses anything in the beginning. So Laura, take us to Antarctica.
Happy to, Sandy. And hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight to hear about Antarctica, really my favorite place on the planet. So happy to share it with you. Tonight, we'll talk a little about why travel to Antarctica. What are you going to find there? Why Antarctica 21? Why have Sandy and Sterling decided to partner with us as kind of the best journey to Antarctica? We'll talk about a day in the life in Antarctica, and then we'll have time for question and answers. So, as Sandy said, I am Laura Gerwin. I'm your Antarctica expert here tonight. I'm representing Antarctica 21, and I've actually had the opportunity to live in Antarctica and call it home. I used to drive monster buses at McMurdo Station for the United States Antarctic Program and support passenger logistics out at the airfields. So I've spent a lot of time on the ice, just living there over 2 years' time. I've had the opportunity to do this experience that you'll do a whole handful of times. I'm actually headed down next week. I'm so excited. It's been a little while since I've been there. And I've also had the opportunity to go to South Georgia in the sub-Antarctic. And that is absolutely phenomenal. So I'm just here to share everything about Antarctica with you tonight.
Isn't this amazing? I mean, how many people on the planet have actually lived in Antarctica? I mean, it's just to have someone with that kind of experience and expertise is really amazing. So I'm Sandy Lipkowitz. Some of you may know me. Some of you, I may be a new face, but I am award-winning top Condé Nast top travel specialist. And I've always loved designing amazing adventures and journeys for individual clients, but I also love leading small groups to amazing places on the planet. And Antarctica has been on my list, and I thought, well, it's time. And so here we are. So Laura, tell us more.
Here we are. Let's go to Antarctica. So to start with, we are Antarctica 21, and we specialize in flying you across the Drake Passage, putting you on a beautiful boutique ship, and taking you away on a wilderness expedition. So let's talk about why Antarctica. What are you going to get when you get there? I think some people are automatically drawn to it, and some people are not sure that they're apprehensive. So, for starters, you have incredible and abundant wildlife in Antarctica, seen nowhere else. You will find yourself surrounded by millions of penguins, which is just an extraordinary scene. And there's seals, and there is a lot of marine life. The time of year that you are all traveling south, we specifically picked that because the whales should just be bouncing out of the water like fireworks. There will have been time for the sea ice to break up, allowing the whales to travel down south, and that'll be an amazing time to be there for the marine life and the wildlife. And what Antarctica always has that's just nowhere else like it on the planet is a landscape made of ice. You know,
No, it was
these
amazing.
ice.
When I was talking to Laura before, and we were talking about photos, and I said, "Oh, I'll just get a picture of me in Alaska with a glacier, because all glaciers are the same." And then I looked at my Alaska pictures, and I felt like I was like in somebody's backyard swimming pool. I mean, compared to these, it's just breathtaking.
It's a great point, Sandy. I mean, these are massive, right? You read about sheets of ice traveling in the polar waters that are the size of states. I think there was just one in the news the other day they called the size of Rhode Island. So if you can imagine that these are just giant structures that are always changing by the weather and the wind, and there's just nowhere else that's a place made of ice, not even in the Arctic will you
If
find a
you're a
landscape.
photographer, this is just amazing.
It's candy in a bowl for sure. The other thing with Antarctica is there is world-class science. Some of the most incredible science in the world is happening in Antarctica. We have amazing history of exploration, and really a lot of it is recent exploration. You know, it's barely 125 years ago where some of our first explorers were really discovering Antarctica. So as far as culture, it is not barren of culture, as some would think. This is a culture of scientists and adventurous that live on the ice and have dedicated themselves to these polar places. So that's a bit about what you're going to find in Antarctica, what to be excited about. And then we want to share why Antarctica 21. Why this trip out of all the options? Why do we feel that we are the best option? Number one is we fly you to Antarctica. I'm
That
assuming
the
most folks,
cutest plane you've ever seen? I just want to go on the plane.
it's true. To be fair, disclosure, not all the planes look like penguins, just to
Oh,
have you forewarned. But there are a handful that do. So hope for the penguin plane. And, most folks know that for most folks who travel to Antarctica, they sail across the Drake Passage, which is the wildest waterways in the world. It takes 2+ days to sail it each way. There's nothing out there about except for maybe some seabirds, an iceberg or two. Typically, folks are not feeling well, they're in their cabin, and it's really just not an efficient use of time. So we give you your 4 days of your life back, and we fly you across the Drake Passage in 2.5 hours. So that is the number one. At Antarctica 21, we're just celebrating. Now it's actually our 21st year. We celebrated our 20th last year down on the ship, and we pioneered the fly cruise model. This was our invention. Our founders and board of directors who engineered the whole concept still sit in Punta Arenas today and guide the direction of the company. So, after the most important thing of flying you across the Drake Passage, we then board you on the smallest passenger ship available in the Antarctic before you get into, private charter yachts, right? We're 76 passengers. And why this is so important in the Antarctic is the Antarctic Treaty does not allow more than 100 passengers to leave the ship and go to shore at one time. So all of the larger ships down there, even if they're just 140 passengers, they're playing this merry-go-round game to rotate folks on and off the shore or zodiac cruising or groups at lunch. They aren't able to maximize the experience because they're having to rotate through passengers. Since we're able to have everybody off the ship and on the shore at the same time, we're maximizing your time. We're giving you more of Antarctica in a shorter amount of time than anybody else down there on a small boutique ship. Those of you that like logistics, another thing that's really important about the 76 passengers is we have limited our ship size to match our aircraft size. So it only takes one flight to move everybody from point A to point B. So you're never going to be waiting on one side or the other side for everybody else when Antarctic weather windows can close out of nowhere. So we keep you all together. The other thing we offer you is the most guides to guests in the industry. Our expedition team, they are polar passionate. They are incredible. We will talk about them more later, but we have about one guide to every 5 or 6 guests. So this
that's
allows,
amazing. That is so
yep,
amazing.
it gives flexibility for everybody and offers a really in-depth, intimate experience. So it's wonderful. And the other thing is I mentioned a bit is we are local. We have our operations team in Punta Arenas. Our board of directors are there. This is the gateway to Antarctica, and this is our home. We are a Chilean-run, best managed company. So little bits about us. We are also carbon neutral, doing everything we can to have a positive impact and really help lead the way in sustainability with Antarctic tourism. One thing we're really excited about is brand new is we are bringing down e-fuel, and our Zodiacs will now be running on e-fuel. We're the only folks doing this, and this is a big deal as far as the oceans and the waters that we're making this switch. So excited to add that to our portfolio of sustainability. So let's talk about the itinerary for a minute.
Oh yeah, that's the exciting part.
Yeah. So the full itinerary is 7 nights, 8 days. I'll get in a bit more how that works, but this map kind of shows what happens is you'll all fly internationally and you will meet us in Punta Arenas, Chile. We'll fly you across the Drake Passage and then we'll do a little tour around the peninsula. The first day, we meet you at our brand new expedition center in Punta Arenas called the Explorer's House. This building is absolutely beautiful. They've just rehabbed it, so it's a part of history that's now exclusive for Antarctica 21 guests. And on day one, we'll meet you here. We will get you your boots. We loan you the boots for the expedition. We'll have a briefing. We'll let you know what's going on, really what to expect, and a delicious dinner with all of your fellow travelers. That's a bit about the Explorer's House for day one and a little bit of your flow of itinerary, how it works. We ask everybody to meet us in Punta Arenas at the hotel by 2 p.m. The hotel is Cabo de Hornos, which is about 3 blocks from Explorer's House. We run a transfer, you can walk, all that simple. But we ask that you check in with us by 2 p.m. And this is important because in this ideal world, as you can see on our little map here, is on the morning of day two is when we fly you to Antarctica. But if we are looking at weather on the morning of day two, we might actually leave on the afternoon of day one. So this is why it's so important that we ask everybody to be there by 2 o'clock. But if Mother Nature's with us, everything goes exactly to plan. The morning of day two, we fly over to Antarctica. You're on the ship by lunch. We spend 5 nights on board exploring the magic. The night of night 7, we fly back to Punta Arenas, and you spend that night at the hotel again. And then the next day, you're free to travel forward. That's where we always like another little bit of a buffer in case we have weather delays. Maybe we'll fly home on the morning of day 8. So we always look for flexibility when we're headed out on expedition.
This is so well planned for all possibilities. So you just feel really safe and secure.
We've been doing it for 21 years, so we have
Yeah,
learned
you
a
guys got
lot.
it down.
we've we have learned a lot about what you need to be prepared for. And when things do go awry, it's amazing the positive feedback that we get back from passengers because it still just becomes this epic experience.
Well, I've also
So
heard that it's, if there's only one plane that's going to go out, because some other ships are doing a partial fly, it's always Antarctica 21 that's going to get that plane first.
that's true. We are partners with the Airways of Antarctica. We have been for a long time because we all engineered this together. So we always have flight priority if things get backed up,
Which is
which
amazing.
is great.
That's super important to share because there's so many lines out there that do Antarctica, right? But constantly, and we've sent clients to Antarctica many times before across a slew of different brands, and consistently there's half the group that stays behind, takes the next flight out, one half gets to go on, there's delays. Having top priority to make sure everyone gets on the plane when everyone gets on the ship at the same time really makes for this kind of experience to go extra smoothly, which is important for people taking that leap to something so
Absolutely.
daring and exciting once in a lifetime. A lot of travelers are nervous about that kind of thing. So you can check that one off your list because the smoothness is already taken care of.
That's
A
so
hundred
right,
percent.
Sterling.
Yeah, and to add to that, sometimes people do worry about the flight delays for all the reasons we just talked about. But it's much more comfortable to hang out in the Explorer's House, have a Chilean flight of wine, to be out in the Drake Passage, where there can also be wild weather. So
I can tell you, I had a colleague telling me when she was sailing across Drake's Passage, it was really, really rough. She was in her bed and she was thrown out of her bed.
yeah,
And I
I've
had
experienced very similar.
And I had other clients that were supposed to get on a cruise ship that was coming through from Antarctica around, I don't think they were actually going, but they were just going through Drake's Passage, because if you go from Chile to Buenos Aires, that's how you go. And it was hit by a rogue wave and the ship was damaged and they couldn't, get on their ship for the itinerary. So if you can think about how rough a water is, that a wave can damage a full cruise ship, it's the most dangerous waters in the world. So I want to fly
It's true.
over.
Yeah. We'll fly you across in one flight, and that is where we board our stunning expedition ship, the Magellan Explorer. This is your home away from home for 5 nights. Your cabins have beautiful picture windows, sitting areas, a pretty nice size bathroom for a cruise ship. We've got a fantastic observation lounge where we hold our presentations, but also you can just sit and watch the environment pass you by. We have a library, a sauna. There's decks on each end of the ship you can go outside on. We're really offering you everything you need on a ship to have a fabulous expedition. We keep you comfortable, we keep you safe, we keep you housed well, and we'll talk a bit more about all of that. But to start, let's talk about a day on an expedition. You've flown all the way to the ends of the earth. You've done all of these things. Now what? What's your day in a life like? So on the morning, the expedition leader will come on the PA system, welcome you to the day, and ask you to come join us for the breakfast buffet. The breakfast buffet is a delicious spread. There's always, 6 or 7 different items in the hot bar. There's a live omelet line, huge pastry station, a large salad line where you have charcuteries and yogurts and fruits and, the oatmeals, everything you want. Nobody's going to go hungry. Then we'll get off the ship for the morning, usually 9:30. We're off the ship by the morning. They're inviting folks down to the Zodiac decks for getting off the ship. We'll spend 3 to 4 hours on shore, give or take what's happening in the environment. And know that if you're kind of first off the ship and last back on the ship, you've just extended your window. More time on shore for you.
Well, what if
Then
someone doesn't want to spend 3 or 4 hours on land? What happens?
you don't have to go back to the ship, take a shower, have a coffee, take a nap. You can do whatever you want. We will
So if
talk a
you're
bit
on the
more.
land and you want to go back to the ship, there's a Zodiac that will take you back.
There
So you have a
is.
water taxi in Antarctica.
You do. You do. We'll talk about our excursions and the flexibility with all of our
Okay,
guides in a
great.
minute. But that's what's so wonderful about us having one guide to every 5 or 6 guests is we are able to cater to your needs. So if you're ready to get in the Zodiac and go back to the ship, I mean, you probably typically won't even need to wait 2 minutes. There'll probably be a Zodiac waiting for you. Vice versa, if you've gone back to the ship or you decided you wanted to come out late that day, they're gonna come and get you and bring you to shore. So
That is
all the
such,
flexibility in the world.
that's amazing service.
It's again that small ship. That's what you get with 76 passengers on board. So once we have everybody back on board for lunch, we will switch landing sites so that you have somewhere else to go for the afternoon. And in the meantime, we'll have a delicious lunch buffet. Wine and beer are served and included. And same thing, we'll have a hot bar again with, 5 or 6 choices. Huge salad bar line with a lot of options, soups, breads. They always do some sort of pop-up. If it's Asian noodle bar or taco bar or something like that, there's also a hidden cheeseburger menu. Don't forget to ask about that. And they do a great job about accommodating dietary needs. So no worries with that. We will take care of that. So once we're at our next landing site, we're off the ship again for the afternoon. Usually by 3 o'clock, you're getting off the ship again for the afternoon, maybe even 2:30, just depends what's happening. And then again, another 3 to 4 hours on shore to explore whatever's happening. And then we will have you back on the ship, and then we'll invite you up to the lounge for snacks and drinks before dinner. And this is also where we'll do a presentation. And we will talk about usually something that was relevant to the day, what you just saw, what you just experienced, or, if it's science or history or wildlife, whatever's happening, we're going to dig in deeper to that. And we will also give you an overview of what to expect the next day. On an expedition, we often wake up with plan A and we end the day with plan W. right? So you never know what's going to happen, but they definitely give you an idea. So if the expedition leader comes on the PA at 6 a.m. and says, it's a beautiful day, get up, you've had an idea that might happen. And same thing, if they've let you sleep in because there's a bit of a storm outside, they'll give you an idea. And then we'll invite you down to the dining room for a delicious dinner. This is served. You can order whatever you want. There's no options. If you want the steak and the salmon, get both. Live your best life, whatever you want to do. Our hospitality team on the ship is incredible. These folks take care of your rooms and all of your cabin needs, but they also wait on you in the dining room. They know how you like your coffee with breakfast. They know if you want red or white with dinner. These folks just really give you a wonderful at-home experience. And they go hand in hand with our expedition team. These guys really are delivering your dream. Every time I'm on board, I am blown away at the work that our expedition team does. First of all, the knowledge within these folks on board together, it's astounding. We have guides that come back and have worked with us and have been in the polar waters for 20 years and have experience deep into the Arctic beyond that. These are historians and scientists and climatologists and mountaineers and wildlife photographers and really just a highly educated group of people that love to share Antarctica with you. So these are the folks that are really going to be taking care of you day in, day out on the excursions. How the excursions will work is you'll come to shore on a Zodiac. It's so easy to get on the Zodiac. The Magellan Explorer was designed with a really great deck. So you basically just, walk off the deck, step on the Zodiac, and sit down. It's that simple. And there's always two really big sailors on each side ready to help you. So no, there's no worries there. Once we get to shore, the expedition leader will greet each Zodiac and they'll give you the lay of the land. They'll let you know there's a leopard seal over here, there's a historic hut over here, the penguins are wandering around here. And then people are free to explore at their will. There's nowhere you have to go. There's no group you have to keep up with. There's no pace that needs to be set. There's no activity level that needs to be met. The amazing thing about the Antarctic is you are surrounded by it. It's everywhere. So you do not have to go anywhere to see it. You are in it. So there's really great flexibility for all activity levels. That said, if you're the type that's going to start bouncing off the walls if you aren't getting enough activity like me, there's also a mountaineer to help us run up the mountains and help us get as much energy and activity out as we possibly can. So we're really taking care of everybody. And
And
how
there's,
that'll work. Sorry, go ahead.
oh, I was just going to say, there's also the option for people who want to kayak. Can you imagine kayaking in this part of the world?
Exactly. The kayaking is amazing. You split your kayaking time with your time on shore, and you get to have time out there to just be amongst the wildlife and the water. It is important to know that the kayaking is it's more robust, right? It's not for those that have never kayaked before and just want that moment, but for those that are kayakers, yeah, you definitely want to kayak in the Antarctic. For those that aren't, the Zodiac cruising is so much fun. Cruising around in the Zodiacs is one of my favorite things. But there really is a lot of variety between landing sites. I think it really surprises people how varied your days can be there and how many different things you're seeing. And people really, I don't think they believe me until they're actually there. But once you're there, you don't care what you're doing. It's so beautiful. You're happy to just like
Wow.
wander around and be in the magic.
Wow.
Another thing we do here at Antarctica 21 is we have an expedition portal for you. This will open up 6 months or so before your departure. So not only is this the place for logistics for you to, tell us about your dietary needs and your arrival flights, but it's also a resource full of information for you to watch videos about getting on the Zodiacs or to learn more about the IATO Treaty or just different things. So there's a lot of information in there that you can get into. And when you get home from your expedition, the photographer that was on board, They will upload and share all of the images from your trip, and they will also create a logbook for you that details all of the landing sites that you visited, as well as all of the wildlife seen along the
That's
way.
amazing. That's like a fabulous souvenir.
It's a fun treat when you get home. It usually takes them, 2 to 3 weeks, and then the information is in there for them. It's not immediate, but it is quick considering these folks are living life out on expedition. We'll also help you gear up. We're here as your experts to talk all the way through it. Sandy and I wore our gear tonight to give you ideas. But your outer layer, top and bottom, must be waterproof. So think Gore-Tex, think ski clothes. I wear my rain jacket and then I layer underneath that depending on the day. I'll have long sleeves and either my puffy vest or my long sleeve down jacket. Always have extra layers with me. But when you're going to the peninsula in the summer, it could be 30, 40 degrees outside. And if you're hiking around in ski clothes, it can actually get quite balmy. You're not visiting the South Pole in the middle of the winter. So layers are really important. And it's really important, like I said, top and bottom, waterproof because zodiacs are water landings. So you never know if you'll get splashed in the zodiac or things like that. The waterproofing is not really for when you're wandering on the continent itself. It's really about transport in and out of the zodiacs and staying dry when you're in that environment. So we loan you the boots, everything else you bring on your own.
Okay, so when they have the end of ski seasons, ski clothes sales, that's the time we're all going to go shopping in April and May for our outerwear.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, I just geared up on some end of the season sales right now, actually. With that, we're here to answer questions. We've tried to give you an overview of what you're going to experience and can help with all the details and everything along the way.
So let's see if there's any questions. Let's see if anyone wants to leave. I'm not sure if you raise your hand, if we can kind of, if you have a question in there or something. I'm not sure how with the webinar, but if you want to,
Is the
I'm
chat
sorry,
enabled is the chat enabled for participants?
I
I
would
think it
think
is.
I think it is. Let me see.
It looks like it.
Yeah, it looks like it is. Um, I don't know. Well, at any rate, if you have a question and you want to put it in the chat, that would be great. You can always email me, Sandy at Sterling Journeys, or Sterling at Sterling Journeys. That's easy. That's really easy to remember. And we're offering if you saw, well, if you'll look in the chat, there is a link to the sign up page. And we had an offer for if you sign up by January 31st to save $500 per person on it. But for anyone who's been in the webinar, we're extending that to February 15th. So what a great Valentine's present for the person that you love to take them to Antarctica next year. You can have a wonderful, wonderful thing. And if you have any friends or family or anything that want to go with you, we're happy to extend that discount as well. So I don't see, and I'm sorry, we may have done something where we didn't get the chat enabled, so I apologize for that. But please feel free to email us with any questions. The sign up link is in the chat. This is recorded, so it will be posted on our YouTube station if you want to review again. And I think that you will be getting actually a link in a follow-up email after this. So if there's anything that you wanted to know or think about or questions about, that's you can listen to this again. So anyway, I'd love to travel with all of you. It's going to be an amazing thing. I mean, Antarctica is a jewel and a like Laura said, an amazing, no place else, on the planet like it. But unfortunately, with global warming and other things, it's a precarious situation. So I think it's one of those things that's time to see it now while it's still got those dramatic landscapes and the wildlife is there. And like Laura said, we're going at a time when the whales are just going to be going crazy. So how fabulous is that? So I want to thank you. Sterling, do you have anything, or Laura, anything that you want to add?
No,
I'm
Laura, I think you
excited
did
for
a
all of you.
fantastic job. I
All
mean,
right.
you really
Yeah,
covered
Laura,
it.
thank you so much. So thank you all. We
Yeah.
appreciate your time and coming. And if you have any questions, sandy@sterlingjourneys.com or sterling@sterlingjourneys.com. And we'll be happy to get back to you and answer anything. And remember, sign up by February 15th and, $500 a person. That's great. All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye.